Hey, what's up? Ignore my face. I know, I'm wearing makeup. And it looks really bad, so I'm gonna put on this. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I put on lipstick because I don't want to be ugly. Okay, so I wanted to make this video because I have a lot of stories that I would like to tell you people. So it's just kind of like a story time video. And some are funny stories and others are sad, and then some are, I don't know, they're all pretty fucked up. So the first story, okay, this is one of the funnier stories. I was at a school dance, and I was slow dancing with a pole because I have no friends and I am going to be forever alone. And it was that same night that I met my best friend Laura, because we were both forever alone and we were doing the Harlem Shake during slow dances. Good times. So story number 2 is from another school dance. Wow, so many school dance stories. So I was actually recently, it was at it was like in June, I think. It was June. It was like June something. I don't know, but it was like a 5th, 6th grade dance. And recently broken up with my boyfriend, like probably a month before that. So Bad Blood by Taylor Swift came on the friggin' DJ thing, and I got all up in his fucking face and was just like full on singing that goddamn song like in his face, and it was like, I don't know, it was just hilarious. And what's funny now is that we're actually friends even after that. So story number 3. I'm trying to think. Okay, so this story is, it's really embarrassing. So I was in study hall, right? Yeah, I was study hall. And I was in study hall at school, I think it was probably either February or March. God, this is so embarrassing. So I was sitting in study hall next to my friend, who happens to be my ex-boyfriend now, but we're still friends. Anyway, back to the story. I was sitting next to him, and I had never really talked to him before, because, you know, I don't like talking to people. I just friggin' hate people. Anyway, so I had never talked to him before. So I was sitting there, and he comes up and sits next to me, and he's just like, hi, and I'm like, hi. And he's just like, what's up? And I'm like, I'm studying. And he's like, oh, okay. So he sits next to me, and then we sat like in study hall, just normal study hall, for like an hour, and then the teacher said it was time to leave. So I stood up, and I looked down at my chair, and it was covered in period. And I was just like, oh, hell no. So I like sat back down and like stayed there, and he's just like, are you coming to lunch? And I was just like, no. And he's just like, are you paralyzed? Why aren't you moving? And I was just like, and he was just like, okay, fine. So we walked out of the classroom, and my friend was walking by me, and I was just like, Katie. And she's just like, what? And I'm just like, go get the fucking teacher. And she's just like, why do I need to get the teacher? I'm just, go get the fucking teacher. And she's just like, okay. So she went and got the teacher, and the teacher comes over, and she said, what's the problem? I was just like, I had blood all over my fucking chair. And she's just like, oh, okay. So yeah, and then the other part of that story was that kid that I was sitting next to, who I happen to have a crush on at the moment, but we dated. But so we weren't dating yet. He was dating some other girl that I think it was Cat. Wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so he had no idea what happened to me. I'm pretty sure he did, but he might not have. And then we were sitting at lunch, I think back in April or May or something, before we broke up. So he goes, "So that time you were sitting in study hall, were you actually paralyzed, or did you have your period?" And I looked at him and I was just like, "No, the teacher wanted me to stay so she could talk to me." And he said, "You want to know how I know you're lying? Because you just made up the story as you were talking." One of the most embarrassing moments of my entire fucking life. So story number 4. So I'm just kind of going to give some backstory on this story. So, we lived in Portland for about 4 months, and it was kind of one of the worst times of my life. So there was this guy who lived in the apartment below us, and he had 2 daughters. Let's just call them Annie and Daniela. Yeah. So he had 2 daughters, and we were friends. So I went over to their house to have a sleepover, and there was, my mom was out, and there was babysitters, and you can probably guess what happened from there. He came up, and he started yelling at my babysitters. I was just like, "Oh, fuck you, bitch! Fuck you!" Yeah. Okay, so story number 5. I was trying to ride my skateboard, and so I live in a really small town where some of the people that I go to school with live, and they kind of drive by my house sometimes. So I was riding my skateboard, or attempting to, because I don't actually know how to ride one. I was riding it down the sidewalk, and this kid from school drives by as I trip and fall over my skateboard onto my face. And this kid is just staring at me, and then it took me forever to figure out who it was, and it turns out it was somebody from my homeroom last year. Yeah. Okay, so story number 6. Who are you and what do you want? Clearly they needed to go to the bathroom. Okay, back to the story. So, I was a very not good child. I am still not a good child. But when I lived in Freeport, before I moved up here into the town I live in now, I had a friend that lived across the what do you call the place that you park? The parking lot. She lived across the parking lot. So my window was on the first floor. So I would open it and kick the screen out and jump out my window and just like run over to her house and be like, "Hey bitch, the fuck is that?" So I would jump out my window in the middle of the night, like all the fucking time. Yeah, I was a really stupid child. Okay, so this is kind of on the funnier side. I don't know what I was doing as a child. I was so stupid. But me, my friend Zaina, I'm not going to say her name, but me, my friend, who was the same person who lived across the parking lot, and my best friend, Malia. Her name was Malia, right? I think it was Mariah. Her name was Mariah or something. So we were walking in the woods out back of my friend's house, and we were pretending that we were in the Amazon rainforest, and we were swinging from trees. And I swung off of a tree and fell on her face, and she was just like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm just like swinging from a tree like a monkey, and she's just like, "Well, you don't have to land on my face." And I was like, "I'm sorry." Okay, so story number 7, which is the last, second to last story. So it's one of the last stories, I don't know. I really don't want to tell this fucking story. I really don't want to tell this story right now. This is really not a good time for me at the moment. Okay. So this was back the night of a school dance that I could not go to because I couldn't get my grades to stay up because I'm an idiot and don't know how to keep my grades up. So anyway, I couldn't go to the dance. And this was back when I was, and I had a boyfriend. I was so upset that I couldn't go to the dance. So, so we were, messaging each other on, my laptop. So, I was messaging him and he said, "Are you going to the dance?" And I said no, and he was just like, "Oh." And then his girlfriend, who is no longer his girlfriend, but was his girlfriend before he was dating me, and then his girlfriend after he broke up with me. It's complicated. Anyway, so she texted me and she said, "He wants to break up with you." And I texted back and I was just like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he's just like, to think of a name to call him. Let's just call him She said, wants to break up with you. And I texted and said, "What the fuck is she fucking talking about?" And he said, "I'm breaking up with you." And I said, "You better fucking not be, because I swear to God I will find you and kill you." And he said, "Well, just be glad you're not going to the dance, because that would have probably gone a lot worse and I probably would have died tonight." And I was just like, "Yeah, you fucking would have died tonight. I would have turned into a fucking Incredible Hulk and went Hulk smash right in your fucking face." Yeah, that's literally what I said. And then I came up with a whole bunch of awesome comebacks and said them to both of them. And then I didn't talk to either of them for like the next 2 weeks. And then they broke up again. Woohoo. And then he turned into a dick again. And then I guess now we're friends. Such a complicated life of a middle schooler. So yeah, those are all my stories. And, ow! And, thanks for watching my videos, I guess. Okay, bye!